You know, I've always wanted to give a graduation speech. Well, as a matter of fact, any kind of speech. That's why over the last 4 years I put most of my effort into my presentations rather than my papers. Sadly for me, though, I'm not going to get to make a graduation speech, as only the valedictorian and salutatorian get to make such speeches. And guess what? My class rank is only 4. I missed getting a speech by 2 class rankings. 2 rankings, you hear me? On a side note, half of you would probably kill me just to be ranked at 4th, so I graciously thank you for not doing so. Anyways, I'm not getting a graduation speech, so I decided to settle for the next best thing. A YouTube video containing what would have been my graduation speech. And, one day I actually started up the old Microsoft Word and started writing out exactly what I wanted to say. I put down every important and meaningful thought I had, because, my graduation speech had to be the best graduation speech ever. I never completed it, though, because I realized that even if it was the best graduation speech ever, it would still only get no more than around 50 views on my YouTube page. What then is the point in trying to write the best graduation speech ever? Yet I still am going to upload this video, aren't I? Why? The answer is actually quite simple. Our lives are like a blank sheet of paper. We have the ability to write our own story, and as the paper is still blank, our story has the opportunity to become the best story ever written or the worst one. Or most likely, somewhere in between the two. Regardless of whether it is the best story or the worst story, we all have the opportunity to make our stories better by writing down new words in them. I think my story will be better by having a graduation speech thrown in there, and that's why I'm writing one down. Every choice you make writes a few more words onto that finite piece of paper you have. It's your choice whether you write positive and creative words, or whether you write destructive and negative ones. I can't tell you which type of words you should write, but I can tell you which kind I'm going to. I'm going to write the positive ones, and they don't always lead to success, but they have always put me a step above failure. Anyways, as a brony, I'm required by brony law to throw in at least one My Little Pony reference of some kind into this speech, so I thought I would conclude with a short story from my life this past year. One day, when logging into the PonyNet, I noticed that an MLP writing competition had begun. Contestants had 3 weeks to write a new piece of fan fiction based off of given prompts. I had never written any fan fiction before in my life, yet once I saw that competition, I knew I had to try. It didn't matter what the 3 weeks overlapped that of the musical production, and that I was going to be busier than hell. As celestial as my witness, I was going to become a writer! And I did. I penned a 14,000 word, 30-page fanfic during the production of the musical. Months later, I actually found out about the competition. Out of the 92 entries that were submitted, 10 were selected as winners and given prizes. My name was not among them. To this day, I'll never know how decent or how horrible my story was. All I'll ever know is that I was one out of 82 people who didn't win. That's not the only way of looking at it, though. Sure, I might have been 1 out of 82 that failed to win, but on the other hand, I'm also 1 out of 92 that actually wrote a story, as opposed to the hundreds who never even tried. You tell me which action is more successful. And that is why I want to refute that senior quote that our class chose, that if you ain't first, you're last. Because if you try, you can never truly be last. And maybe you'll even be successful.